owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, I hope you're having fun on this special day, my friends. We are here to talk about the Flash Commander banning. And I don't mean a quick banning in Commander, I mean specifically the card Flash has been banned in Commander. I'll admit, I'm kind of surprised that Flash wasn't already banned in Commander. I was just like, wait, they banned Flash. I'm like, isn't that already banned? Like, I literally went and did a search, and I'm like, okay, I don't pay that much attention to Commander, but I feel like Flash should be banned. I mean, I have done a video on Flash. There's a deck where basically, actually, you know what, let's talk about the card first. Let's get Flash up on the screen, and then we'll move into talking about that, so we're all on the same page, because it helps to be able to see the card. So what you're looking at right now is the card that got the ban. This is Flash, and we're using the Mirage edition of this, because this is a super old school card, and I like to use the older version, although we will take a look at the newer artwork just real quick in a moment. Let's take a look overall what the card is first, though. 1 blue and 1, it's an instant, kind of has to be for what it does. Choose a creature card from your hand, put that creature into play as though it were just played. Pay the creature's casting cost reduced by up to 2. If you cannot, bury the creature. The newer wording is you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost reduced by up to 2 mana. And that has to be from the little colorless circle. You can't reduce the cost of the colored portion of it. It's legit just you can drop generic mana off the spell. So on the surface of it, the concept behind this is really it's supposed to just be granting the Flash ability to a creature, right? Like, Flash is something that's been in Magic all the way since the time of the Mirage block, actually. I don't know if there's anything before the Mirage block that had Flash. Flash is just allowing you to play, back then it was just creatures. Now there are other permanents with Flash, but Flash allows you to play a spell that's normally not playable at instant speed at instant speed, thus making it a little more versatile. This sort of surprise, like they did like a crazy fast cheetah back in the day and gave it Flash, where it's like, this cheetah's so fast and it just appears in a flash. And from a flavor perspective, I mean, it makes sense, right? I like it when keywords are tight and make sense, and that's what Flash is. So this card essentially allows you to cheat a card into play, right? At first, you'll just go, okay, well, I'm paying 2 mana to cast a Flash, and it only reduces the casting cost of a creature by 2, so it really makes the creature cost the same. That was the idea that they had behind the card originally, right? Where it's just like, okay, conceptually, it seems fair. Now, obviously, in execution, you have to understand, there are over 25,000 different Magic cards in existence. And when you combine them together, you can come up with some pretty dirty stuff. Now, there was a deck called Flash Hulk, and Flash Hulk was a deck that would actually allow you to win during your opponent's first upkeep before you've even had a turn. So we could be playing a 2-player game, and you could be going first. And before you get to your first main phase, I've actually won the game during your upkeep, which is mind-blowing, but totally doable. I've played the deck, like I had a copy of this deck to play with. It was absolutely busted. I never actually got to play with it when it was tournament legal because obviously it got hammered hard. But I did trot the deck out when I was playing against somebody who only insisted on playing Counterspell and land destruction decks, just the most unpleasant style of Magic that you could. So I said, you need to stop playing decks that make it so that I can't play Magic, or I'm going to build a deck that makes it so that you can't play Magic. And he didn't listen, so I built a Flash Hulk deck. Now, I'm not going to go into all the specifics of how a Flash Hulk deck works because I actually did a video on the Flash Hulk deck, and what I'll do if I remember is I will link it at the end of the video here if you want to go and check it out. That's if I remember, who knows. Given the day, I may forget. So anyhow, the idea is just supposed to be, oh, look at me, I can cast a creature at instant speed. But obviously with crazy come into play triggers and crazy leaving play triggers, you end up with a scenario where you can do some crazy nonsense. Now, Flash is already banned in older formats, right? Like Flash, first of all, since it was printed in Mirage, it can only really be in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. Well, guess what? In Legacy, it got the full-on ban. In Vintage, this card is restricted. The Vintage is the format that has Black Lotus, Moxes, Time Walk, all literally the most powerful cards in Magic the Gathering, and Flash is on the list of restricted cards there. That is an impressive list to be on. And the artwork on this original Flash, I always thought was really wonky. Look at it. Look at this thing. You've got like this little like ghosty kind of Drake thing showing up. It's got like a weird four-eyed kind of face. It's a weird insect Drake beast that I guess is supposed to have just shown up. Like, I don't know what's going on here in this artwork. I look at it and go, okay, is the beast showing up in a flash? Did he flash out the creature but couldn't afford to pay the casting cost of like the extra, like the full casting cost? So the creature got sacked and this is its ghost and he's just looking at us. Like, it's this weird, he's looking at us. I guess he's the summoner or something with this crazy look on his face and the sheer amount of forehead wrinkles. You know when like you lift your eyebrows up in shock and your forehead kind of creases up? Look at the amount of forehead creases this guy has. It looks like a soup can. You know what I mean? There's so many ridges there. It looks like his head is like part soup can. And there's something about his weird earlobes and stuff and the crazy way he's staring. His squonked in nose where it's like pinched in the middle so it looks like a keyhole. I remember staring at this artwork and my brain going, what's happening? There's this weird flat plane with these black skies. It almost feels like he's in some kind of netherworld, doesn't it? Like, it's absolutely nutty. The artwork that they chose for the updated Flash when they released it in Masters 25 again, that, like, it makes more sense art-wise. You can see what looks like a bear kind of like blurring into existence or just moving at an insanely accelerated pace. And the flavor text says, no tactic transforms a battle like a well-timed carnivore. That's a nice little bit of fun and flavor. So let's take a look at the actual announcement from the Commander Council or whatever. Commander's a weird beast because unlike every other format, Wizards of the Coast doesn't choose what gets banned. Wizards isn't in charge of that at all. They manage every other format, and Wizards will talk with the people in charge of Commander bans. But Commander's bans are actually determined by a Commander committee of players who kind of govern the format. And that's interesting. It helps to give Commander its own particular sort of vibe to it, where it's like for the players, by the players. I like that a lot, personally. So bear in mind for this announcement, if you're not that familiar with Commander, there are two versions of Commander. There's Commander and there's Competitive Commander, which is basically EDH is regular Commander, and CEDH with a lowercase c, which is really, it always feels weird to me that they lowercase the c. I figure competitive people would want a big uppercase C. But anyways, CEDH is the variation for competitive players. And it's weird to see changes made to Commander at the behest of the competitive Commander players, but that apparently is what's happened here. So I'm just going to, they had a big rules update primer for Commander. I'm literally going to only read you the blurb from Flash here. So it says, speaking of exceptional decisions, we're banning Flash, the card, not the mechanic. Yeah, that would be funny actually to think about people going, wait, we can't play any cards with Flash in Commander? What the? No, get out of here. So it says, enough CEDH players who we trust have convinced us that this is the only change they need for the environment they seek to cultivate. I have to admit, it is a little bit weird to me to see the Commander Committee caring about what competitive Commander wants, because Commander seems like by its nature to be anti-competitive, and the more competitive you get, the more it diminishes the actual spirit of Commander. Now that's just an outsider's perspective, so if you have more that you want to say about that, let me know in the comments below. Continuing on with the blurb, it says, though they represent a small fraction of the Commander player base, we're willing to make this effort for them. It should not be taken as a signal we're considering any kind of change in how we intend to manage the format. This is an extraordinary step and one we're unlikely to repeat. So basically they're saying, like, normally we're not going to listen to what competitive Commander players want. They don't shape the format. They're a small portion of the player base, but they feel like Flash is enough of an issue that they're willing to do this little olive branch out to the competitive community, which is nice, I would say here. It says, we use the ban list to guide players in how to approach the format. and hope Flash's role on the list will be to signal cheating things into play quickly in non-interactive ways isn't interesting. Don't do that. And I agree, honestly, if you're going to do like cheating things into play and not letting other people play Commander, that does feel like it defeats the inherent nature of Commander, where it's supposed to be more of a relaxed, chill, everybody sit around and have a big, crazy nonsense game. That's how Commanders always seem to me. So it continues, we believe Commander is still best as a social-focused format. I have to say, I really, really enjoy the concept of Magic as a social-focused format. That ranks high with me. I really enjoy chilling and playing Magic. For example, on Arena, I play a 250 card mono green deck, right? So for me, getting to chill and play Magic is way more interesting than taking it to the most competitive level possible. I find the more competitive you make Magic, the less interesting, the less fun, and the less social it becomes. So for me, the social focus format is a great selling point. It's unfortunate that I don't enjoy multiplayer Magic with 3 or more players. That is one of the big things that makes me not want to play Commander. And the problem with one-on-one Commander is that's competitive Commander, and I've just outlined my issues with competitive formats as well. So, taking responsibility, this is continuing the article, not my words. Taking responsibility for your and your opponent's fun, including setting expectations within your group, is a fundamental part of the Commander philosophy. I love this concept. Taking responsibility for your and your opponent's fun. At the end of the day, Magic is a 2-player game, and both players' experiences matter. Approaching it with a zero-sum sort of mentality, which equates to the less fun you're having, the more fun I'm having, I want to have all the fun, is not a healthy way to foster a game. It's not how Magic started, and Commander, while there are issues that stop me from playing it, Commander does feel like the closest format to the original mentality of Magic the Gathering. So I do genuinely appreciate that sentence, taking responsibility for your and your opponent's fun, including setting expectations within your group, is a fundamental part of the philosophy. That's fantastic. Organizers who want to move towards more untrusted games should consider adding additional rules or guidance to create the Commander experience they want to offer. That's one of the big draws of Commander, is that it's all like suited to particular house rules, your own kind of group rules, all this sort of thing. I really like that because it really does feel like old school Magic to me. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Thanks for coming by, everybody. Big shout out to my patrons and channel members. I say to all of you, thanks for coming by, and I will see all of you lovely people very soon.